What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and in this video, I want to talk to you about the toughest time to do in prison. Now, the reason that I came up with this video idea was because I was talking to our good friend Dave, who is locked up, who does come home in March, who I will be bringing you guys an update about. But it was as I was talking with Dave, and as he gets closer to the end of the time that he has to serve before he's released, it made me realize and it made me remember that, there are some pretty tough times that you will spend while locked up. And when you think about the toughest time that you will do, you might automatically assume that it's going to be at the very beginning of your incarceration that's going to be the toughest. And if you think that, well, you're right. Kind of. I mean, the beginning of any time that you're going to spend locked up, it's going to be some tough time. You're going to be thinking about the free world. You're going to be thinking what you coulda, shoulda, woulda done if you had another chance to do so. You're going to think about everything that you're missing. You're going to be doing a lot of thinking. Then add to that trying to get adjusted, trying to get situated, trying to deal with court, wondering what's going to happen when you do go to court, potentially dealing with people just like yourself who are doing the exact same thing that you're doing, a whole lot of and complaining about all of the same things that you're sitting there and complaining about as well. Or if you're not surrounded by guys like that, then you're going to be the new guy, the fish, the greenhorn, the guy who definitely sticks out like a sore thumb, who definitely looks the part of being that new guy in there that everybody really wants to know what you're in there for. What can they get from you? And, are you going to be willing to fight? Yeah, because in a lot of cases, being the new guy locked up, you're probably going to have to fight. And if you don't, RIP the Junies and every personal belonging of that new fish prisoner who's not willing to fight. So win, lose, or draw, if you ever find yourself facing a situation like that, the best thing that you can do. Hey, you the new guy, right? What you got for me? You got something I can have? I'm trying to take all your stuff. Hold on. Just so I make sure I heard this correct. You said you want to take all. So again, the beginning of the time that you serve, it's probably most certainly gonna be tough. But it's with mentioning all of that you might be surprised to learn that the end of any time that you have to spend locked up can be just as tough, if not even more tough, than the damn beginning of your time ever was. And the reason for that, I know it might sound crazy. You're probably thinking to yourself hearing this, Joe, how could the end of any time that you spend incarcerated be just as tough, if not more tough than the beginning? Wouldn't the beginning be the toughest, thinking, damn, what am I doing locked up? How did I even end up in here? Man, if I woulda, coulda, shoulda just done this, I could have avoided all of this. With a prosecutor out, I got some information for. I got to get out of here. Yeah, make no mistake of it, and I can't emphasize enough, the beginning, it's definitely going to be tough, but just as tough as the beginning can be, so also can be the end of your incarceration. And the reason for that, and again bringing Dave back into the conversation, because he's dealing with this exact thing right now. In fact, every time I talk to him, he's always telling me how hard this time is that he's serving right now. But the main reason why the end of your time can be so tough is because you are so anxious to get back out here into the free world. You are so anxious to get back to everything that you've been missing. And your time that you're serving, that last little bit of time, however much it is, whether it's the last week, the last day, the last month, the last couple of months, it's going to drag by and feel like forever. And just as Dave is dealing with this now, and every time I talk to him, he's telling me just how much he wants to get back out here to all of this, how much his time is going by so slow right now. I mean, I can remember times where I was at the end of my incarceration, and no matter which of the many times it was that I spent locked up, but every single time you get down to that last week, that last month or couple of months, your mind just continuously starts thinking about the outside, everything that you're missing, everything that you're wanting to get back out to, and also all of the fears that you have about getting back out here and thinking like any number of troubling thoughts. At least this is exactly how it was for me. I would get to the end of my incarceration, down to that last little bit of time, and I would be thinking about all of these things that were worrying me, things that I was stressed about. How hard is it going to be for me to find a job? Where am I going to work? Am I going to be able to make enough money to take care of myself, to support myself, to pay off my court fines, and attempt to try to get my driver's license back? Which is something that I've just finally, after so many damn years, I think it's like almost 18 years, I've finally been able to do that now. But again, you're going to be thinking about all of these things, and also something else to throw into this, something that I found myself thinking about a lot. Am I going to get back out there and deal with addiction again? And again, for me personally, that was something that absolutely scared out of me. I can remember during this last time that I just served, these 7 years that I served, right toward the end of that, during those last 2 years, I was legitimately having dreams about drugs, being around them, being in a situation that might make it easy for me to get right back into that same old lifestyle, that constant revolving door of negativity and a downward spiral leading to nothing. When I consider the bouts that I've dealt with addiction to be in my life. And I can remember vividly waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat from dreams just like what I'm telling you about here. In fact, one dream that sticks out more than any other dream that I had throughout any time that I ever spent locked up was one very similar to just what I'm telling you about right here. Being in a situation where I'm around drugs, being in a situation where it would be easy for me to either do those drugs or get wrapped right back up in that type of a lifestyle. And for once in my life, in this dream, for the first time ever, I didn't do the drugs. And I know all of this may sound kind of silly to you out there listening to this, but I got to tell you, when I woke up from that dream, I remember this part of it just as vividly as I remember the damn dream. But I was pretty damn proud of myself for not doing that, even though it was only a dream. And if you think about it, a dream is like really your subconscious. So, things that might happen in your dream could be things that you'll do in real life, or maybe things that you really want to do in real life. And God knows I had plenty of those type of dreams as well while locked up. Things that I was really wanting to do, but couldn't because I was locked up. I'm hoping you can read between the lines of what I'm talking about here. But again, even though it was just a dream, I was still pretty proud of myself for not doing that. Because again, I feel like, you might be doing things in your dreams that you really want to do in real life. And to be completely honest with you, that was the first time ever while locked up I had had a dream like that. A dream that actually made me wake up thinking that there might actually be some hope for me out here in the free world, and I might actually stand a chance this time. Because I gotta tell you, every dream that I was having before that involving the free world usually involved me getting chased by the police or by police dogs or in some sort of a high-speed pursuit involving the cops. So maybe that dream was telling me like my worst fear was running into and dealing with the police again after being released, or maybe my subconscious telling me, hey, Joe, you ain't done dealing with the police just yet. I always hated those type of dreams, and the funny thing about it is I always had those type of dreams at the end of any time that I was serving. Hence the fact that the end of the time that you're going to serve, it's going to be some tough time. You're going to be thinking about so much just like what you were at the beginning of your time. Maybe not the same exact things, or maybe kind of similar to those things. You might not be thinking about court so much because that's long gone and done. But nevertheless, you're going to be thinking about a lot of things. And anytime you're thinking about a lot of things pertaining to the free world while locked up, your time is going to basically pump the brakes and come to a screeching halt, because that's how slow it's going to feel like it's going by. Every day is going to feel like a month, every hour is going to feel like a day, and every minute will feel like an eternity as you're sitting there trying to somehow patiently count down until you're actually released. And that's not even to mention all of the problems that you could potentially have dealing with other people, knowing that you're getting short, knowing that you're getting to the end of the road, and that you're about to be released. In a lot of cases, guys will tell you, hey, don't tell anybody when you're getting released, and a lot of guys live by that. Because there's this old prison myth, this old prison urban legend that says, if guys find out that you're getting short and getting ready to get released, and they're nowhere near getting released, or maybe never getting released, they could certainly bring some problems your way. And God forbid the wrong guard finds out that you're getting short, the guard that you don't like, that doesn't like you, that you've had some problems with, maybe some words with. God forbid that guy or gal finds out that you're getting ready to get released. Hey, yo, what you just say to me? I'm a guard. I'm a correctional officer, one step above a hall monitor in an elementary school. I didn't even say anything to you, man. I was walking the opposite way. How did you even see me? I just want to go home. It's sort of an ironic thing to think in relation to the toughest time that you could spend locked up, because you might automatically assume that the beginning is going to be the toughest part of that. But it's crazy to imagine that the end of that time that you have to serve can be just as tough, if not more tough, than the beginning ever was. Because in a lot of cases, and especially in Dave's case, because every time I talk to him, he tells me just how tough these last couple of months really have been for him, as all he's doing is thinking about getting back out here to everything that's going on out here. But no matter how tough the end of any time that you have to spend locked up is, the one good thing to keep in mind, if you're even able to do so, and you will be able to do so, is the fact that you're getting ready to get released. And you know, to be honest with you, no matter how tough the end of your incarceration is going to be in comparison to the beginning, that one fact alone is a pretty good one to keep in mind. And you know, as I wrap this up, I want to leave all of you with one question. You know, we've talked about the toughest time that you can do locked up. The beginning's tough, the end's tough as well. Well, what do you think the easiest time, if there is even such a thing, what do you think the easiest time that you could serve is? Hey, look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about it. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace! So, Dave, what's going on with your brother?
Oh, man. Time as usual.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. I just did this video this morning. I'm glad you called because I wanted to incorporate your take on this as well. But I was doing this video about the toughest time to do in prison, the beginning of your time versus the end of your time. And being that you're just getting to the end of your time now, I figured, you know, you could offer the best insight on this. But just talk to me a little bit about your take on this whole situation.
Well, first thing I want to say is, you know, the beginning sucks. We all know you're getting locked up. You're losing, you know, all your freedom. You're being taken away from your family, all the stuff you love. But compared to the end, it doesn't compare. And the end sucks so bad.
So what are you saying? Like, are you saying that the beginning is worse than the end, or the end is worse than the beginning?
The end is worse than the beginning.
And why do you feel like it's worse?
Oh, man. It's, number one, it seems like the time just slows down. All the time that's gone by, you know, doesn't even seem to take as long as the end. This last little bit of time I got left is probably going to feel twice as long as the whole bid.
And why is that? Because you're thinking so much about getting out here?
Yeah, you know, everything that's going on, you know, APS and, you know, my son and just everything that I think about every day, you know, about to come home, and it just, I guess, I don't know, just talking about it got me feeling crazy right now. Lately, all I've been doing is just sitting in my cell, reading and drinking coffee and just staying away from people. I get so frustrated, you know, listening to this stupid stuff people talk about in here, and I'm just thinking, like, man, y'all are coming back. Like, I hear people talking about, like, you know, just admitting, I got another bid in me. Like, wow, like, can't even imagine having to do this again.
And you know, that's funny that you mentioned that, people saying, oh, I got another bid in me. You know, you'll hear these young kids, and hell, I was even one of these, you know, I can admit this. I was one of these young people who would say this, you know, I got another bid in me. I'm not done messing up yet. And it's crazy now thinking about that because I'm older now and I've done enough time for 2 or 3 people. But, I mean, here you are, you're listening to this as well, and it's got to be insane hearing that.
Yeah, you know, now, I know I'm not old, but, God, I'm 35, man.
Oh, you old, Dave. You old. I'm 35, too. I'm old, man.
I'm 35, and, you know, I've been doing this, like you said, I've done this too many times over. I've done years and years behind bars, and I get so angry listening to these dudes talk, man. Like I heard another dude, like, man, I got this jank out here that's gonna, you know, front me to buy money, and I'm like, dang, bro, you're just getting off a dope bid. Like, what are you thinking?
So you got people in there already putting together plans to go back home and just get back right involved in the streets and doing the same old thing.
Absolutely.
Throwing rocks at the penitentiary.
Yeah, that's what they're in here doing. They're building their rock pile.
Hey, look, let me ask you this as well. This is a really serious question, but like as you're getting closer to the end of this, you only got about another month left to go. What kind of fears do you have, if any, about getting back out here? Are you scared of anything? Is anything like nagging at your mind, like things that might stress you out or worry you?
Well, funny you say that, right? Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's time to go home, and I start thinking about all the responsibilities that I have, you know, my son and my child support, and finding work, and what I'm going to do, and how I'm going to do it. And it begins to drive me crazy, but I got to say thanks to, you know, you and the whole Army. Drugs isn't one of the things that worries me anymore. You know, I got so many people that got my back that I never had before. And the battle that I went through before I turned myself in, you know, really helped me get over that. Like, that's not one of the worries that I got, and I thank y'all for it.
Well, look, as far as work is concerned, you know, I'm going to help you the most that I can to make you a full-time part of After Prison Show as well, and that's something that I'm hoping we're able to do. And I mean, I'm going to do everything I can to make that possible for you. But, you know, I want to be able to at least try to take care of your mind in that department. I want to move on real quick because we don't got a lot of time. There's some other things that I want to talk to you about and ask you about. Hey, look, I know I was telling you about this recent video that we just did featuring this dude named Big Dave Perrine. And this is somebody that you actually know as well, right?
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about what you know about Dave and what your thoughts on him are.
Man, I think me and Dave had a lot of the same struggles, actually. You know, the only difference is, you know, he's been trapped between a rock and a hard place his whole life. You know, his whole family, you know, dealt with addiction, so that was something. With me, I kind of fell into it. My family was never addicted to anything. But Perrine, man, he's such a good dude. Yeah. I've never seen him have no problems with anybody the whole time. Like, I met him at Indian Creek.
Right.
And I've never seen him have one problem with one person.
Yeah.
He's just that type of guy that, you know, gets along with everybody.
And, you know, I've been telling you, we've been doing a lot to try to help Big Dave as much as we can. And just like what we've done for you, we're doing for him to a certain degree. And also, once you're released as well, Dave, I mean, make no mistake of it, we're going to help you in any way that we can as well. But I definitely wanted to get your input on this guy because just like you said, you met him at Indian Creek. I met him there as well. And I mean, he's just a solid guy who's been, like you said, stuck between a rock and a hard spot his whole life. I want to ask you something else. And I want you to tell me a little bit about this real quick if you can. I was just talking to you a little while ago on the phone, and you were telling me like some of the crazy stuff that's been going on in the jail with some of these scams these dudes are doing. Tell me about this again.
All right. They kind of been knocked off, so I ain't got no problem talking about it. But this is crazy, right? They're getting credit card numbers. Like, I want to say about 4 weeks ago, this dude had like the whole pod flooded with hot plates. Like 40 people got like 12 hot plates apiece.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Or he goes to all the indigent guys and he'll have like 20 care packages sent to the, you know, and just killing them. You know, putting money on people's books. So now you can't do it but like one. I think you can have 1 to 3 transactions a week, but it can't be from any sketchy credit card or anything.
You know, it's crazy to think because this was something that I saw while locked up, and I'm sure you've seen this before as well. This isn't your first time seeing something like this, but it's just crazy to think that even while locked up, you still got guys who are committing crime and trying to scam, connive, and get over.
You know, the crazy thing is that's how I was at one time. You know, I'd get locked up, and as soon as I got to prison, my first, endeavor was to try and figure out how to get the pack in.
Yeah.
And that was what, I did. And now, you get locked up. I'm locked up now, and I got these guys running around, hey, I got these pills for sale, I got this for sale, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. And, I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, if I can't stop that here,
yeah.
and I'm just fooling myself all around the board. So I don't even get into that. I play pinochle with the old guys. That's what I do now. That's all I do.
Hey, look. I didn't mean to cut you off. Look, we're getting ready to run out of this phone call. This phone call's almost up. But a lot of people have been asking for an update on you, Dave. I mean, everybody still cares about you. They're waiting for you to come home. I still see the hashtag FreeDave in the comments section. You still got a ton of support. So with that, man, you want to say anything to everybody? Let them know how you're doing and just say hello.
Man, the same as always, man. I love y'all. The Army, y'all have backed me 100% this whole time, and it's been a blessing. And I'm looking forward to coming out and doing big things. I appreciate everything.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, look, I appreciate your input on that whole situation about the toughest time to do. And I know, you're also saying that the end of the time is hard. But there's one thing that I want you to keep in mind at the same time, Dave. And no matter how hard the end of this time may be for you, dude, you are about to come home, man.